my tea. Hey everyone, your favourite ADHD demon's back, and even though this is a bit late, I thought I would showcase the books that I rated 5 stars in 2024. There wasn't as many as I thought there was going to be, and that is unusual for me because I'm usually very, very generous with my reviews and ratings. However, I think you'll like these top reads. First up is actually a YA book. I don't read too many YA books, but this is The Light That Blinds Us by my good friend Andy Darcy Theo. I've followed Andy since the very beginning of his journey on TikTok. I've loved watching all of his writing videos, his progress videos. He's done absolutely amazing. I'm so happy for his success. And I was so thrilled to get an art copy of this and read it because it is incredible. Let's talk about the characters because I am obsessed with these characters. There are 4 main characters. Each one of them holds the power of an element. The diversity in their personalities is absolutely amazing, and also their development throughout the story is incredible. From deep, intimate moments to jokes between the group that made me roll my eyes, each interaction felt real and relatable. Reading this, considering Andy is a man, it took me back to being that teenage girl and the awkward feelings you feel when you're that age. And there are very specific girl-related teenage feelings that Andy just touched upon so well, and it just brought a smile to my face, and it just made it so much more relatable. For a YA book, that is really important, especially when, as a romantasy reader, there is no spice or anything like that. However, talking about romance, this has the sweetest friendship turned romance ever. I love Demi and Alexis. I can't wait to see what happens to them in the sequel, which is out in April, by the way. So if you haven't already pre-ordered it, go pre-order it. It is red instead of the blue, and it's called The Dark That Hides Us, and I genuinely cannot wait. So the training scenes were genius. The action just kept going, as well as the quests. It genuinely felt like the Avengers movie, but in a book. So it was really, really good to see the transformations that the characters went through, the creativity and how their powers were used, and also the foreshadowing just kept me hooked the entire way through. It is an emotional roller coaster, I am not going to lie. When you get to the 30 chapters, chapters in their 30s, you'll see what I mean. And he will rip your heart out at a certain point. And then he'll go on his Instagram and put a story up, taking the mick out of it, just to rub salt in the wound. But you need to read this. Don't forget the sequel drops this April, so perfect time to dive in now. I haven't read all of Ali Hazelwood's books. However, the ones that I have read, I have loved. So when I found out that she was writing a paranormal romance, I was very excited. When I read this, it was my first read of 2024, and I think I was just in a very easy writing mood, which is why I devoured this in less than a day. So the setup is a marriage of convenience between a vampire heroine called Misery and an alpha werewolf called Lo. Misery is the daughter of a powerful vampire politician, and this alliance is supposed to bring about peace between the two species. However, she is trying to find her missing friend, so there's intrigue, there's drama, and there's also romance. It's all there. It was a really exciting world to jump into because it was kind of like modern day, but vampires and werewolves are around. I absolutely adored Misery. She's quirky, she's goofy, she's clumsy, and I absolutely adore a goofy female main character. Totally obsessed with her, and someone else who is obsessed with her is Lo. Secretly, he's pining for her and he's totally obsessed with her, and I absolutely love it. This is a very typical slow burn, but when the steam hits, it hits right. It all happens majority in the second half of the book, but the tension building up to it is just chef's kiss. Their chemistry is off the charts and you will be rooting for them every step of the way. The ending definitely sets up to more in this world, so it does look like it potentially could be an interconnected series. I so hope so, because the next book will follow two characters that I love. But honestly, it did feel like Ali Hazelwood was meant to write in this genre. It was just such an easy read, and yeah, 5 stars. This is probably my joint first read of last year, and it is Sword of Kaigen. This book absolutely stole my heart, and I genuinely was so surprised to learn that it's self-published. It is incredible. I picked this up from Bronte's books. She gave it a read and absolutely loved it, and I love the premise, so picked it up. Did not disappoint. It's a masterpiece. If you love high fantasy, military fantasy, or emotionally intense stories, this is one that you definitely need to read. The story is set in a richly detailed Japanese-inspired world that feels both fantastical and grounded. The world building is really intricate. There's like elements like honorifics, there's customs, language, but it's woven seamlessly throughout the story that it's not too much, it's not too overwhelming. What got me though, I'm someone who does really love high fantasy and world building, but what really got me about this book is it wasn't just about the setting. There are some really heavy themes in this book, like family, love and friendship, but also like the devastating impacts of war. It is genuinely heartbreaking but unforgettable. Misaki's journey as a mother and a fighter is probably one of the most compelling stories that I have ever read. And Mamoru, whose name means protect, his growth throughout the story is just phenomenal. Even the side characters are really fleshed out, and the relationships between them all are so complex, but they're so real. The battles are some of the most wildly and vividly written scenes that I have ever read, full battle scenes. From elemental magic such as wind and like blood manipulation, which gave me Jujutsu Kaisen vibes so much. Every duel and every clash is like breathtakingly beautiful and so vivid that you can literally see it in your mind. It's one of those books where the tension leaves you breathless and the stakes just have you on the edge of your seat to find out what happened. It's raw, it's devastating, it is unforgettable. I'm seriously getting emotional thinking about it because it's just a masterpiece. So if you're looking for a masterpiece, definitely pick it up because 6 stars. It's easily at least 6 stars. Now to get over the emotional roller coaster that is that fantasy book, Heartless by Elsie Silver. I adored the Chestnut Spring series. 2 of the books I rated 5 stars, which was Reckless and Heartless. I was never ever in a cowboy era, but it turns out I am now. Breakdown, it's romantic, it's heartwarming, it's small town romance, found family, check, and the spice is next level. I'm just here giggling to myself because I've followed Sword of Kaigen with this, and I know that Bronte loves Sword of Kaigen, but she's not a fan of this book. Let's start with Cade. Daddy Cade. Cade Eaton has a filthy mind and mouth. If you haven't already met him, please go and fix that. He's just got that like bad boy with a heart of gold vibe about him. The man is dirty mouthed, protective, and totally cinnamon roll for her soft boy vibes. Like, I was sold on page 1. Just love a brooding, grumpy man, but only in books. Willa is just as amazing, the female main character. She's strong, she's sassy, she's absolutely hilarious. Honestly, everything I love in a heroine. And I don't usually like books with kids in, but Luke has got to be one of the cutest and funniest kids I've read in a book in a long time. This book is definitely a go-to escape for me. It's just, again, just a heartwarming, easy read. And I find this in a lot of cowboy romance books lately. They're just relaxing, especially after reading a fantasy book before. So yeah, if you love small town charm, found family, interconnected series, definitely pick up the Chestnut Spring series. My last top read of 2024 was When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I love Sarah's writing. I have followed her since To Bleed a Crystal Bloom, which is her self-published series. Her writing is so lyrical and beautiful, and I will eat up anything she reads. This book's world building absolutely blew me away. It is complex, yes, and I can totally see why some people would get overwhelmed with it. But if you're in the mood for lyrical writing, dragons, magical creatures, it's definitely worth the dive. Like, seriously mesmerizing, doesn't even cover it. Let's talk characters. So, Rave, total badass. I've seen a lot of people say she gives Aelin vibes. I haven't finished the Tog series. Please don't come for me. I'm on Air of Fire. Forgive me. But yeah, she's sassy. She's witty. You just can't help but root for her. Her backstory is so tragic. It's a very emotional book. I cried like 3 times during the read. But there's so much depth to her character, and I can't wait to find out more and see where else her journey takes her. Khan is the delicious book boyfriend based on Khal Drogo that I didn't know I needed. He definitely is a bit more soft boy than Khal Drogo. Think Cassian from Avatar meets Khal Drogo. But yeah, new book boyfriend alert. Would die for her, would kill for her, would burn for her. Those are just totally the vibes that he gives. Trust me, you'll eat it up just like I did. The romance is slow burn masterpiece. It's delicious, so full of tension. I can't really say much more about their romance without spoiling anything, so I'll leave that to you to find out. But the chemistry is off the charts, and the banter. Give me all the banter in a book, please. I just eat it up. It just destroys me in the best way. So if you love like angsty characters, high fantasy world building, and just really complex worlds, this is definitely one for you. I would say it is not for everyone. The complex world might be a bit too much if you're not in the right headspace, but if you are, it'll blow you away. And the sequel comes out later this year. So those are my top reads of 2024. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to me jabber. If you did read any of those, let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. But yeah, so I'll see you next time.